So, you found this. That's interesting, isn't it? In the middle of your busy day, here you are. This isn't a coincidence. It's more like a tap on the shoulder from life itself, asking you to look up for a second. Have you noticed a quiet hum underneath everything lately? Not a sound you hear, but a feeling you carry. A sense that sits in your ribs. A knowing that tugs at your attention when you try to sleep. You can push it down with busy work or noise, but it doesn't leave. It just waits for you to be still again. Let's be clear about that feeling. It is your inner guide. It's the oldest, wisest part of you sending up a signal. It doesn't use big, complicated words. It uses a tightness in your throat. A sudden pause in your step. A need for a deep breath you can't explain. Give this moment just a few more of your seconds. Not for my sake, but for yours. Because there is a powerful gift waiting for you in this pause, understanding. And understanding is the key that unlocks the door to peace. It ends the merry-go-round of questions in your head and lets you step off, feeling steady. Here is what that inner guide might be trying to show you. Something real has been taking shape in your world. It hasn't made a scene. It's been growing quietly, like a seed underground. But now, it's ready to break through the surface. Realizations have their own timing. And when they arrive, you can't unknow them. This is the reason for the humming feeling. Your heart is already aware of what your head is just now discovering. Often, this centers on a person who matters to you. Think of them. Does something feel off? You're picking up on a change in the weather between you. The easy laughter happens less. You overthink simple texts. You feel like you're both speaking, but the meanings are passing each other by. Some moments feel like old times, and it gives you hope. Then, a coldness creeps in, and you're left wondering what you did. This dance is draining. And when we're tired, we blame ourselves. We think, maybe I expect too much. Maybe I'm not seeing things clearly. But here is the valuable piece you might be missing. This isn't about your worth. It's about alignment. Two people can be good, kind people, but simply out of rhythm. One is playing a heartfelt ballad, while the other is already listening to a different song entirely. You are not wrong for hearing the disconnect. That quiet hum? That's you noticing the difference in the music. That feeling you've been carrying isn't a flaw. It is your personal compass. And it's pointing somewhere for a reason. This silence is heavy, but it's not about your worth. The quiet grew because a difficult truth was pushed aside while you chose to hold on to hope. You stayed true to what you felt in your heart. You believed in a bond that didn't need words. But somewhere along the way, a door was left open. Another presence has been quietly making space in a place you thought was yours. It wasn't sudden. There was no grand moment. It was a slow shift, like the tide coming in. It often starts with things that seem too small to matter, a casual text that lasts a little longer, a shared joke you're not part of, a friendly concern that becomes a daily habit. But small things, repeated, build a world. A chat becomes a routine. A routine becomes a comfort. Comfort becomes a place to turn. And without a single announcement, someone's focus begins to drift. Their energy has a new place to land. This is the real source of that ache in your chest, especially now. The holiday season isn't just about joy, it's a mirror. It forces choices. It shows us who people instinctively reach for when they want to feel warmth and belonging. This Christmas feels charged because it's revealing a shift that's been happening in the shadows. The air feels thick, waiting. That tension isn't there to hurt you. It's your own spirit sounding an alarm, trying to get you to see what it already knows. The person you care for has been trying to live in two different stories. In one story, there is you. You are home. You are depth, history, and a soul-deep understanding. You are real. But there is another story now. In that space, someone else has been patiently building a role. They've been present in the empty moments, filling silences you didn't know existed. They've offered a lighter kind of closeness, one built on constant availability and new excitement. They represent an escape, a simpler path without the weight of complicated history. Your person is stuck between the comfort of a deep ocean and the allure of a sparkling new shore. And your heart has been feeling the pull of that current long before your mind could name it. It probably didn't begin with the intent to hurt anyone. But a small distraction has grown into something with real weight. The deepest cut isn't from one action, but from a slow shift of energy where someone's focus and warmth now consistently go. That energy forges bonds without asking permission. This is why you notice the change in the air before a word was spoken, the distant tone, the new space between you. Your spirit felt that chill because your connection was real. The other person knows you exist. They are working to claim their own space, believing that sharing holiday moments will make their bond feel destined. But destiny isn't built in shadows, it's built in light. The pressure you feel is a truth that can no longer be contained. This isn't about a dramatic blow-up meant to hurt you. This exposure is your protection. It ends an unsustainable game. While others created confusion, you were being strengthened in the silence, learning to trust your own voice again. As the holidays near, the choice becomes unavoidable. No one can live in two hearts forever. The strain will show in quiet cracks, awkward pauses, hollow excuses. The easy flow is gone because their energy is divided. What started as a simple escape for them now carries unexpected weight. Easy never lasts. Now there are expectations, questions about the future, a demand for real commitment. This new pressure, mixed with the truth of your history, has them trapped. The energy to keep pretending now exceeds the courage needed to be honest. The breaking point isn't coming to break you. It's coming to free you. Your person is now caught in a war between two selves, one that wants peace without consequences, and one that knows this has an expiration date. That inner conflict is exhausting. While they're stuck, you are transforming. The fog is lifting, replaced by a quiet clarity. You're stepping back not from lack of care, but from an overflow of care for yourself. This shift is a signal. Your dignified distance has been noticed. Your calm absence has become a mirror, forcing them to see their own chaos. Even the third party feels the shift. Their borrowed time feels borrowed. The excitement is laced with doubt. A connection that lived in secrecy wilts when it seeks the light. Here is what matters: you are no longer lost in confusion. You are grounded in your own awareness. You don't need to chase answers or beg for closure. Your power comes from seeing things clearly, without wishing them different. This chapter isn't a trap. It's a recalibration. What feels like loss is a course correction, revealing a strength you forgot. You are being removed from a space where you had to shrink to feel chosen. You were never meant to live in the waiting room of someone else's indecision. You are being guided back to yourself. And that is where everything real begins. The mirage is fading. In its place, you are coming into focus, steady, rooted, done with waiting. You have stopped weighing your value against someone else's uncertainty. You no longer accept a storm of mixed signals and call it affection. Inhale. Exhale. Stand next to what is real, not what you fear. Nothing that is about to be revealed is meant to destroy you. Its purpose is liberation. You are not a contingency plan. You are a definitive answer. And if another person cannot offer you that same certainty, the path ahead will still carry you lucid, resilient, and into the light. Once someone can no longer depend on your constancy to soothe their own unrest, they must finally confront the turmoil within. That is a difficult moment, but it is also where growth is born. This process needs no spectacle to be significant. Its authority comes from the fact that it cannot be negotiated with or delayed. When truth becomes the only path forward, the world quietly rearranges itself. You will understand, without doubt, who was built on substance and who was merely passing through for shelter. Do not see yourself as abandoned. See yourself as the one who walked toward understanding when the path was darkest. There is an hour when facts no longer ask for consent. They simply are. That hour is now, ticking with a quiet, relentless rhythm. The person at the center of this has met the limit of their own divided heart. The narratives they clung to for peace are unraveling. The act they tried to sustain is failing. The knowing they outran has finally caught up, and it is insisting on raw integrity over crafted alibis. What is unfolding within them is not mess, it is reckoning. It is the undeniable realization that every step forward now requires facing what they left behind. They are beginning to comprehend that a bond cultivated in secrecy cannot demand a future without severing a tie that still holds authentic weight. The clock on borrowed comfort is striking midnight. What was once a refuge of simplicity now asks for complicated promises, and the gravity of that request is reshaping the landscape entirely. What they are starting to understand is this: a real connection doesn't just vanish because you look away. It stays. It holds a weight that doesn't lighten when ignored. That is a difficult truth to carry, not just out of guilt, but because it shatters the quiet hope that some things would just dissolve on their own. Once that awareness dawns, there is no going back. It rewrites the story. Meanwhile, the other person is arriving at their own understanding. They are sensing they entered a room that was already occupied, filled with echoes, history, and feelings that were never finished. They might not have noticed at first, but they notice now. It's in the pause before a reply. It's in the space that's growing between moments. The thrill is cooling into doubt. They are learning a hard lesson. Just because you are in someone's present doesn't mean you are in their future. Being there is not the same as being chosen. Without that priority, even the closest bond begins to feel thin, because it's built on shifting ground, not solid earth. While this realization unfolds around you, your own change has become impossible to ignore. You are no longer humming with anxious energy, caught between hope and letdown. You have found your center. You are solid. You are sure. And that stillness is the most powerful force in the room. When you are no longer pulled into old emotional cycles, others lose a vital distraction. They can no longer use your reactions as noise to drown out their own quiet conscience. Without that, they must sit alone with the results of their choices. That silence is often where everything changes for good. This isn't about shame or a public reckoning. It is about correction. As things begin to realign, the stories they told themselves start to crumble on their own. Words can be edited, but the feeling in the air cannot. The energy around your person has changed. What felt like certainty now feels like questioning. What felt like fun now feels heavy. What felt simple now feels like a debt coming due. The borrowed comfort is being seen for what it always was, temporary. It can no longer cover up what is real. Everything is coming to a point because there is finally no room left to hide. The haze that once clouded your vision has lifted for you, and now, it is lifting for them, too. Your person now knows that every choice has a shadow. Even without a word being spoken, a split presence cannot stay hidden forever. This season has torn down the fantasy that anyone can live in two worlds without paying a price. The weight of emotional truth is far heavier than any promise. Conversations can be put off, but truth has its own momentum. The other person feels this shift, too. It may not feel like a door slamming, but it feels like a light turning on. They are starting to see that sharing moments is not the same as sharing a future. Walking into a story that wasn't finished has complications no one warns you about. This knowing changes how they act. It lowers their expectations. It puts a space where there used to be none. And through it all, your own path has reached a quiet but powerful summit. What you once hoped to find in someone else, you have found in yourself. Certainty has taken the place of doubt. A deep calm has replaced the restless waiting. Trust in yourself has silenced the old questions. You don't need their explanations, their promises, or their approval to feel sure of what you know. Your time for confusion is over. Your willingness to bargain with half-truths has ended. This is where your very being sets the bar. People can sense it. They understand that to be close to you now requires genuine honesty, not clever excuses. It demands clear purpose, not hesitant maybes. This is when you see that what you once dreaded as exposure is, in fact, your release. It frees you from the waiting room of someone else's life. You are no longer bent by the outcome, you are strengthened by the understanding. What is laid bare now is more than just Peaplighter's patterns. The pattern of choosing what's easy over what's right. The pattern of seeking a quick escape instead of doing the harder, true thing. Once you see a pattern for what it is, its hold over you breaks. Your special person is not lost about what matters anymore. They are only struggling with the courage it takes to choose it. Truth demands a step forward, and that single step begins to reshape everything, the moment the inner argument shifts from what feels easiest to what is honest. There is no way back to the old excuses. Meanwhile, your own foundation is solid. You are not pleading. You are not reacting. You are rooted. When you stop asking for clarity from others, you become clarity. When you stop making deals with uncertainty, you stand firmly in what is real. This isn't the closing of a door. This is you, standing at the threshold of a new story, one written in the ink of your own truth, alignment, and a quiet confidence that needs no outside voice to confirm it.